talents, jump, silencer.
That's still
I do my job.
Information.
Okay, well, it's a complicated hero.
It is a complicated hero. Maybe a reason why we don't see it too often. Meanwhile, Quest is going to be rocking the Primal Beast, a hero that they actually used in their group stage match against PSG LGD, which, by the way, did go 1-1. Their previous series, the one before that, Quest managed to win in Bali, but then the series before that, PSG LGD managed to 2-0 Quest. So we're actually dead even on games between these two teams, though 2 of those series, the first 2 were with Amar. It's the latest one that they played the Primal Beast in. Malik was rocking that one there. He's going to be rocking here again, see if he can have the same level of success or not.
I think if LGD get through the first 10 minutes versus Quest, they have a favorable matchup, because I think Quest plays a little too slow to punish LGD's greediness in terms of they like to play for the mid and late game team fighting. The big 5-on-5 clash is where LGD thrive. It's not in the early laning mechanics. It's not in some tempo game. And I think Quest is the weaker of the top 4 European teams in terms of punishing that greediness or the slow tempo. So in theory, I think LGD, they should be happy playing against Quest compared to the Liquid or the Gaming matchups here, as long as they can get through the lane. The issue with this game in the draft is I don't know if you actually win the late game with the Spectre here. I think Juggernaut can just out-man-fight this hero. You have a break in the Primal Beast, which is going to be super nice for the Dispersion and the Mars here. In fact, this is that Primal Mars matchup that we've seen LGD play a lot, and if you give Primal a start, he might just run away with it and trample all over you.
Yeah, some stick charges to work with, and the Tombstone's going to die here. Let's see if Omar gets out. He's got to heal himself if he lives. And it's looking like he's going to be okay. The Spectre even taking a couple of tower shots from the towers. So that's it's going to be rough for PSG LGD, giving up that first blood, and Shiro taking unnecessary damage like that.
This is also a really late pick Snapfire for Noob. Probably his best hero, the one that Quest are most comfortable with. And a hero they feel confident winning the early game and the late game. So there's a lot of things that, even if you get to that point with the Spectre lineup here and the 5-on-5s in the mid and late game, it's not just an automatic teamfight win. You have to go through a lot. You have to go through the healing ward, the breaks, the Juggernaut man fighting you. It's not straightforward. And of course, you have this Leshrac that you kind of want to boost up as well if you're LGD. So not everything can just go into Shiro's pocket here.
Yeah, playing Leshrac without IO, that's a bold choice right there.
It's pretty bold, and they got the counter pick mid as well, so it's not like Leshrac is in a dominating lane matchup, as Noob is going to have a perfectly fine time here. Yeah, I kind of like what Quest have going for him. We'll see if Shiro can make the Spectre work, eliminate some of the back line. Even if he's behind, if he can take the Silencer and Rubik out of the fight, it'll open up a lot more for all of his other cores to just go in there and take the man fight. I think that's what LGD are kind of looking for.
Yeah, it would make this pickup right here, the Shadow Demon, a lot more effective because it did get counterpicked by the Silencer. We heard Fade Beyond talk about how that was a good choice.
Silencer's definitely annoying for the supports here on LG, as well as nothing to say, unless NTS wants to go for the fast Yules, which could be an option in this game. I don't think it's a bad Yules Leshrac games. I think that build's also better when you don't have people to play behind you in terms of sustain in a weird way. Like the IOLesh, I would expect you to just rush the Bloodstone. Here you can kind of go in with the Yules, maybe buy some time. You can set up for your squad. You don't have a lot of setups done on LGD. You'll find the connection early. I also think the Yules can be good versus the Primal. You have some Yules utility versus the Omni Slash as well. It could be an interesting build-up for NTS. We'll see what he decides to go for.
I 100% agree.
Go to base.
I think without IO and maybe not necessarily always reliable setup stuns, Yules looks pretty good to me, and nothing to say. Is off to a great start. He is actually shut Noob out of the lane. He had to do a walk back to base, and this was not one of those like push out the wave. He's only going to miss a few CS. Noob had to walk away from a neutral lane and has probably missed out on a healthy amount of CS as a result. So you could see him falling a bit by the wayside in that CS counter that he was keeping toe-to-toe with nothing to say before that.
Just good heads-up individual play here on the LGD mid laner, and it's going to make up for that safe lane, because Shiro is not having fun versus this Primal Beast. Definitely falling behind a little bit. I think you expect Spectre to have a rough laning phase. It's not the worst case for this hero. You're usually always going to be out a little bit from behind. The other upside is sometimes this hero can get away with buying less regen, just because she's pretty tanky on lane, has some decent stats. You can kind of just trade. Even if you die, you come back. Dagger for some more CS. So I think this was within the expected outcome for this pick. It might just feel bad that your last pick is having the worst early game here on the side of LG.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
something we see very common in the current meta.
You say you're expected to be behind. Are you expected to be this far behind, though?
Might be
He's got
a
half the
little far.
CS of TA2000, who isn't even that far up in the CS chart.
It's acceptable to me. I'll put it that way.
Man,
it's
you
not
have very low
great.
expectations for Spectre.
Well, the thing is, I'm looking at the net worth, right? Because I think for Spectre, the net worth is more indicative because is a hero in general. You're not going to buy the early region items and that type of stuff. And in that sense, he's not incredibly far behind.
Okay.
It's just I don't know how long he can stay on this lane. Primal's so damn strong.
He's got a Lotus, got to eat it. And even then, he's only barely going to be able to limp away. Shiro, where does he go from here?
He's
got no regen.
Also, one of the struggles of Spectre is your jungle speed is pretty damn slow. So generally, that's why you want to be able to stand on the lane, at least get your first item. The Blade Mail is the farming item on this hero, as well as the fighting item. So as long as you get to that, Omar, that's just an easy rotation. So much for the Lestrax momentum here. They just turn it straight back around against him. And looking for that 8-minute power rune in 20 seconds.
And that was also because he killed the Rubik. The Rubik was able to rotate back to mid off of TP. So, and in fact, he's going to use that momentum to get another kill on mid. Double kill there.
That's just a freebie. That's just a feed if I've ever seen one, especially when you have this arena up bottom before Omni Slash. Ideally, you try and force some action out here on TA2000, or at least get the spin out, then he can't stand on the lane. Why's gonna poke, you just don't have your supports down here. It's a pretty slow support duo from LGD again. Yeah, like they really are just ramping up the team fight and the scale. It does hurt your early game. And it means your cores are going to suffer a bit until you have the levels, especially the ults between the Shadow Demon and the Undying here. It's going to be a slow game. See how much Quest can pick up the pace here and maybe get some windows open during that time.
Now, another interesting note about this series matchup is the last time these two teams did face a bit against each other, PSG LGD, they are known for their oddball safe lane carry picks. Right, Shiro used to play the Clinks pickup all the time. They are one of the few teams who's willing to run Muerta as an example, and they did run Muerta against Quest, and it was a losing pick for them. That hero did not work out at all in that game. So we'll see whether or not this Spectre is going to suffer the same fate.
You think Shiro wants to play normal heroes in Jowie?
I have to imagine this is 100% Shiro's playstyle that is being...
I don't know, man. He used to play a lot of different carries before he got on LGD as well. Like, he plays all the standard carries. All these Terrorblade, Faceless Voids, Ursas, whatever. Trolls.
Yeah, but maybe that was him being forced to do standard things.
A lot of ults used, a lot of spells missed down here as well.
Kaori's definitely dead. Omni Slash going out. See if they can kill the Juggernaut when he comes back down. Blade Fury's back up. They'll just TP away. They have no BKB piercing disables and will not have any for the entire game when it comes to spin TP out. Now, later on, you can limit the effectiveness of Blade Fury by slowing him down with the Demonic Purge, but it is going to be a constant problem when it comes to his farming out on the map.
And Quest got a decent trade mid tower damage-wise, so he's making up for all of those ults going down for a silencer, and now they're going to defend their tier 1.
Couldn't get the God's Rebuke off in time to try and shove Malik away. Malik will get the Pulverize that will kill New.
And another Tombstone. It's been a lot of
last hit to TA2000. Very nice.
They will. Help him towards his Battle Fury here. Just an overextension by LGD. I don't think they got enough off that first Haunt Arena to justify committing for this tier 1. And now you can just send the Primal straight through the gate back top, kick Shiro back off this lane. There's not a lot to answer Malik in this early game. He already has Phase Drum, itemizing the skirmish often and early here. I like the idea. There's not much to stop him. A lot of the answers for LGD come on later when they have the levels here. That's where your Shadow Demon is going to be effective. But for right now, these towers are getting pressured heavily. LGD getting split around the map. Shiro's going to get dunked on again. I don't know if he dies here. It's just
terrible rotations to get here, so he's dead.
Okay. I mean, Your carry is gone like that. You TP to Mars up here, got nothing. Y is dying to Kisses mid, and your mid 1 tower has also been slain here. Things are not going too smooth for LGD in the first 11 minutes here.
No, they're not. And add insult to injury, the Primal Beast is really working out. A hero that was a losing hero on both sides in their meetup in the group stage. So that's definitely, if they lose this game, there's going to be some questions in the draft. Do they take the Primal Beast for nothing to say, even though they lost with it last time? Do they give it to Malik again after he's now succeeded with it? He's going to have a very fast BKB at this rate. Phase drums, like the little pit stop for drums, is nice.
I would not underestimate LG's ability to come back in this game off team fights. I just think this has kind of been the story for them in the last 2 months, right? Like, you have a rough laning stage, you have some weird niche pick for Shiro that doesn't go well in lane outside of maybe the Clinks, and even then it's a Clinks. And then you're kind of just hoping you get into this mid late game from an advantageous position. I can't help but feel like LGD are just being a little too stubborn on this. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Like, maybe they just feel there's limitations in the hero pools right now with the meta, or that the laning mechanics aren't there, so why try and do something we're not necessarily good at? I don't know. Maybe it's some internal team decision, but damn does it feel very stubborn out of this team in combination with Zhao 8 and just continuing to run what hasn't really been working in a sense.
No. There's the reason why they're in the lower bracket right now.
Atos, brutal but true.
And an onslaught. Pulverized combo, chain stun to death. You had zero chance to get out of that one. It's come to a point where PSG LGD, if they actually win the laning phase, I'm like all in on them winning the game, you know? Because every game they seem to lose the laning phase. And, you know, they got like a 50-50 to come back.
I mean, it's not just the laning phase. Like, you look at this draft, it's how the little synergies add up between the supports in your 2 and 3, which I think is one of the biggest components of this meta is what does that look like? Here you have Shadow Demon Undying. These 2 supports just don't offer any sort of low cooldown threat in combination with the Mars and the Leshrac, so your play options are just not there. You're pretty much at the whim of Quest here in terms of what they want to do and where they want to move. You can take defensive fights, which is something LGD can look for in this game.
Four-man decay will not save you.
Global also makes those defensive fights hard.
Yeah.
This Silencer Spectre matchup can also go a bit both ways, right? With this Global, preventing some of the Haunts coming out when LGD really want them.
Sure.
That is something else that can happen. If Quest are the ones initiating, their lineup becomes a lot better versus what LGD want to do if they have the Global up and they already have like Healing Ward down.
I'm going to need you to expand on the synergy aspect of PSG LGD, because it's not that they can disrupt into Split Earth. That's pretty good. They've got Tombstone with Arena, which is a nice combo. So what do you mean that they can't seem to function together?
I mean, NTS went this Yules, right? If he runs in, he Yules someone into a Split Earth, what's the follow-up? Here they're going to commit everything onto Noob, and he's trying to TP. This will not work. It'll buy some time, however.
Yeah, fortunately, the Yule Scepter is disabled that they didn't need. Global Silence for nice Demonic Purge. Keeps Malik from getting on top of the back line here. Now, they're probably going to lose their Undying, but if they can save some of this damage from the Omni Slash, they might still have some fighting power left around this Tombstone. You can see nothing to say. Still going to brave it, but a lot of burst damage back to him. Oh, the spear back, TA2000 dodged it with the Blade Fury. Now the Tombstone's dealt with. Quest will run down an additional hero, perhaps. Kauri. Oh, no, what? TA2000 has so many stacks on him, man. Oh, what a disaster. That fight was kind of okay for Quest if they kill New, but instead they don't get him, and the Juggernaut dies.
Huge pickup here for LG. That is not a kill they were meant to get, but hey, that Shadow Poison goes through spell immunity now. He had 8 stacks on him at the end of that fight. Killed him for 1,000 damage. You are just gone. This is the benefit of Atos Snapfire. You are damn tanky. It stalls out this go, makes LGD commit very hard. If that charge goes through, you might just get wiped there. Very heads-up purge by Planet. Planet really salvaged a lot of this engagement. As well as this creep wave.
Did he even realize he had this many stacks on him? Or
no, I don't think he was even thinking about it here.
6 stacks? Like, what the hell?
This is number 7, and it just pops. Whew, that feels damn good with the max poison here for Planet as he
the purge, the kisses, that'll finish him off. He's got the Yule Scepter, but he's gonna come back down into more kisses. They don't run out. Now, killing Malik is a big pickup. This guy has had a pretty good game, but they're struggling to finish him off. They finally do, but Noob is in a good position to chase down the extra heroes now. New Probably going to be caught here as the splitter is stolen by the Rubik. He spears the Snapfire in front of him, blinks away. New gets out a second time on just a sliver of HP.
LGD making some plays happen in these fights. Not easy fights, though, especially the way they're taking them. At least they're finding some core interactions, and that was before the BKB came out of the Primal. So now that fight is going to get a lot harder. That Malik has the spell immunity. However, it's buying time for Shiro to catch up. Like, he is recovering at a decent pace. Blade Mail Spectre, it will farm out pretty fast. You also have the Spark of Courage on this hero, so a lot of innate early tankiness here. Pretty nice that this hero can benefit from the new neutral items. That is one aspect I like. And Spectre's a lot about getting your talents up. If you go for this Ags build later, then you want these dagger talents, but if you don't, then you generally just want the stats and the damage. They're not the greatest talents in the game, but Spectre is one of the hardest scaling heroes, so these talents do matter, especially the 21. It's a long way away for now, but it'll come pretty fast if these fights start heating up and Shiro can get in there and survive. You were asking about the small synergies earlier. I just feel Leshrac is not a hero you want to put on an island, because a lot of times he doesn't have enough damage to commit into the tanky mids that most people are playing right now, which means you need damage follow-up or lockdown follow-up, and Shadow Demon Undyne just aren't really providing either. You could also just play this hero with saves behind him, but in theory Shadow Demon and Undyne are saves, they're just not sustained. Generally, Leshrac benefits the most from like Io, Oracle, Treant type heroes. They give him a lot of extra EHP plus heals, so you go in the fight, you're using all your mana, you're staying alive. Okay, Shadow Demon Disruption and Grab Ally are nice here for the Leshrac, but they're not actually boosting his EHP. They're just stalling the fight out, which means if you come back into the fight and you're still in the same position, it doesn't do much for NTS in this type of situation.
Which, I guess...
nice little gank.
That means it will be really effective if he can get to, like, Bloodstone status?
Yes.
Right, then your save will allow you to be able to get a Bloodstone that heals you up a bunch, and then you'll get the sustain aspect, and the saves will be a lot more potent for PSG LGD.
Anything that lets them skew this Juggernaut going in and just cutting them down is going to make their saves better.
Yeah.
So if that's Bloodstone, if it's E-Blade, if it's Nihilism, if it's Wind Wakers, if it's Glimmer Force Stabs, whatever that is, yeah, that's going to make the teamfight feel a lot better for LGD.
He's going to be in trouble here, but he does have some allies to tank up this Omni Slash with him. Demonic Purge going to be used here, trying to slow him down, but Noob is going to be able to land a good cookie, help burst down these heroes, and get the Tombstone. Malik's now looking for more.
He's so fast with
he
the
really wants nothing to say. Oh, and he had BKB, so he had a chance to go for it.
Hard to see that through the fog before the Yules goes out. I also think he's happy to just keep the BKB up and go into Roche with the team here. Healing Ward, 3 points. T1000 will clear through this quickly. LGD in theory can contest this. You do have Haunt up, and you did get a global silence out of Quest. This is not the fastest Roche I've ever seen. I just don't know if you can get back here, I guess. They're just going to concede it. More ground given up by LGD to play towards this late game, as these fights have not gone their way. And a lot of it is, okay, you're taking up the Omni Slash pretty decent, but then what happens after that? You can't keep your Tombstone alive for a Shredder. There's not a reliable way to kill this Healing Ward in the engagement. T2000 has the global to bail him out as well as his own spin. It's just very hard to commit and take these cores down right now, unless you're getting Flesh Golem hits plus those poison stacks.
Yeah, ultimately, if Omni Slash doesn't kill anybody, he's still having a much bigger impact than Spectre is in these fights.
That is absolutely true. And
it's a 4 versus 5 with your Healing Ward up. Spectre does like a little bit of damage, which is easily outdone by Healing Ward.
You in trouble again. He is very far up.
Yeah, what is he doing up here? Did he just assume that Quest was gonna just all in for a tier 2 top or what?
Maybe. Not respecting the map capabilities right now and how much Quest are happy to take any kills over these small objectives. I don't think they really care about getting a tier 2 as much as they care about taking heroes off the map. And that'll be the second BKB up onto Noob here. Spell immunity on all 3 cores on